Midsommar is a 2019 folk horror film directed by Ari Aster. I think it's one of the most weird films that I've ever watched. Like, this is very disgusting and very disturbing and very weird. The film stars Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, William Jackson Harper, and Will Poulter. And it is a really visually stunning and emotionally intense movie. So I'm just gonna have to put a content warning on this entire video because, like, the amount of stuff that happens in this film is so messed up. I don't know what Ari Aster was on when he made this film, but it was sharesies. But yeah, spoilers ahead. Let's get into the video. So the film begins with Danny, who is experiencing a devastating personal tragedy. Her bipolar sister has committed, self-ending. I don't know what's a YouTube safe way to say that within the first 5 minutes. And has also murdered their parents by filling their home with carbon monoxide. Danny is grief-stricken and emotionally fragile, and her boyfriend, Christian, who's been considering breaking up with her, decides to stay with her out of guilt and obligation. Several months later, though, Danny is still, like, emotionally screwed. Like, she is still not over it, which is very understandable. And she learns that Christian and his mates are going on a little trip to Sweden. Pelle, who is his Swedish mate, has invited them to attend a midsummer festival in his rural hometown of Håga. Danny feels isolated and is seeking some company, so she decides to join them, much to Christian's chagrin. And the group arrives in Sweden and makes their way to the isolated village of Håga. The village is picturesque. It's got some lush green fields, some traditional wooden structures, it's got some weird tapestries which depict men eating pubic hair, no joke. The villagers are all dressed in white and they greet them warmly and explain the festival's customs, which they lied about because the actual festival customs are so messed up. But yeah, so they're offered some psychedelic mushrooms the moment that they get there, and they induce some unsettling hallucinations, which definitely foreshadow some of the events which are going to happen later in the film. The group witness various rituals, including dancing, singing, and feasting. Danny begins to bond with Pelle, who shows genuinely concern, and also just, like, he's just really nice. Like, throughout this entire film, the one thing that was on my mind is why there's so many penises in this film, and he definitely wants to get in her pants. Those were the two things on my mind while I watched this film. But yeah, pretty much, Christian completely forgot about Danny's birthday, but Pelle comes swooping in, such a nice guy, and he gives her a little drawing that he made for her, and then Christian comes over with a bit of bread with a candle in it that won't light. But yeah, they are then invited to the Aristupa ritual, where they are absolutely horrified when two elderly villagers who have reached the end of their life cycle at the age of, like, 72. I think they have, like, a whole system here, which is so random, but, okay. So, they commit ritualistic, they commit ritualistic suicide by jumping off a cliff, and the villagers respond to their deaths with a blend of moaning and screaming in pain. And it's even worse when one of the people who falls off doesn't die because he jumped off the wrong way. And then he gets his head smashed in with a mallet. Like, I do think this film's a bit overrated, but the gore's there. Like, the disturbing aspects are right here. But yeah, despite their horror, they're still persuaded to stay, even though, you know, they've literally just seen a bunch of people die. But yeah, Danny is still fragile and is particularly disturbed, but she's comforted by Pelle because he wants to get inside of her pants. And he reveals that he also lost his parents and found solace in the community. These guys have so much in common. I wonder why they aren't dating. But yeah, so the group begins to unravel as Mark descends into a secret tree which he pisses on. Like, so this tree is where they dump all the ashes of all the dead people in the village. And he walks over and he just whips it out and just starts pissing on the tree. Oh, God. But yeah, later he disappears and they claim he left with someone. But Joss is attempting to document the sacred text meanwhile, and he is caught by one of the villagers wearing Mark's face and his dick and his legs. Like, bro skinned him alive and cut off his man parts and just stuck him on. Like, but yeah. Christian grows more distant from Danny, and he's increasingly captivated by a young village girl named Marja, I can't remember her name. But she sets her sights on him, so he's screwed. Danny then participates in the Maypole dance competition, and despite her grief, she wins and she becomes the May Queen. This role places her at the centre of the festival's ritual, and meanwhile Christian is drugged and coerced into a sexual encounter with the girl. And this is where this film seriously pissed me off. Because Danny sees that Christian is, like, having sex with her, even though he is literally drugged and being forced to do it. So, when he is taken out along with another person and they're asking, oh, who should we kill? Who should we kill? We have to purge the village of evil. 4 sacrifices are required. So, Danny picks Christian. And it's like, bro, he has been drugged, assaulted, and now he's gonna die? He didn't deserve that. He was over with the relationship. Like, I've seen so many people online going, yeah, yes, queen. This is a yes, queen moment. No. No, it's not. This is a, what the F? What is going on? This is disgusting. Why is this happening moment? This is a, no, that shouldn't have happened. He didn't deserve that kind of moment. But yeah. The villagers prepared the sacrifices. They place all the dudes in the temple. Christian is placed into a disemboweled bear, and he's also placed in the temple. Danny is still in shock and is given the choice to choose the final sacrifice, and of course he chooses bloody Christian. He didn't deserve it. Okay. And as the temple was set ablaze, the villagers mimic the cries of the burning, sharing in their pain, and Danny watches. She's initially horrified, but the film literally ends with her smiling. Like, I don't get it. How are you happy? Your boyfriend was just murdered, and so was all his mates, and you're just stuck in Sweden now, and you don't know how to speak the language. Bloody genius she is. But yeah, this film is it's a beautiful looking film. Like, that is one of the upsides of the film. It looks beautiful. It's definitely got some pretty typical horror tropes though. The dick boyfriend, his dickhead friends, the painful final girl, who ultimately isn't even the final girl, and also the friend who wants to get with the main character, who even though she's taken. Like, I don't like it. I do think this film is really overrated. I was talking with my buddy Sibanice, shout out Sibanice, the other day, and we both agreed there's so much in this film which is so bloody annoying, and I don't know how so many people just love it. Like, Ari Aster, you know, he's a good director. Hereditary was great. And then he made this and Beau is Afraid. Like, he went from, like, pretty cool, like, creepy horror movie to film with penises, second film with penises. Like, yeah, Florence Pugh is probably the best part of the film. She's a really good actress. She played Danny really well. She was definitely able to show the characters, like, emotional turmoil and vulnerability in the film. Her portrayal is really, really good. And even though I hate her at the end of the film, you do feel for her in the first few parts of the movie. And, yeah, I mean, Christian's actor did a good job. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, Jack Rayner, yeah. He did a good job. And, all the other actors did a good job. I didn't like Will Poulter in this, though. He was very annoying. So was the other dude. They were both just sort of, like, douchebags. I guess that was the whole point, though. Like, you kind of just watch it and then you just like, oh, they died. But like the film's visual style is definitely a standout, though. It's got a really good score, and some of the like shots in the film are really well done. But once again, I hate the ending, and I just don't find like any characters enjoyable. Like, this is a miserable movie with miserable characters and like a miserable ending. There isn't really much to like about it. But I mean, the really only good part is the score and like the acting. That's it. Ari Aster's screenplay is once again filled with like extreme sexual undertones that aren't even undertones anymore, because he just flat shows a guy's dong and then he shows a guy getting assaulted. Like, why? What's the? I know it's supposed to make you feel like disturbed and stuff, but like, I don't feel disturbed. I just feel like disgusting while watching this, because like, this isn't like a good movie. This is just like crap. I wouldn't go that far. Like, I don't think it's like bad, but I just think it's like not good. If you get what I mean. Ultimately, it's a bold movie that definitely falls flat in the end. It's got an alright direction. It's got good acting. I'll give it that. And the performances are pretty good. Okay, I'll give it that as well. It's got a pretty good score as well, which goes from like creepy to happy over and over again, and I think that's kind of cool. I do think it's a bit too long, but yeah, ultimately, I don't think it's as perfect as a lot of people say. I give it like a 6 out of 10, but what do you guys think about the movie? Let me know in the comments.